I mean, right now, youth are having their futures taken away from them by people that are active, by voters, you know. It always kind of enrages me when youth are portrayed as entitled. The biggest overarching reason I'm involved in politics is to communicate big ideas, and the big idea is essentially liberty, right? That we ought not to initiate force against each other to try to get things done. We ought to respect individuals who aren't harming anyone. And so in terms of platform issues, you know, the three of the things I think that we face as Canadians right now that are pretty big are taxation, privacy issues, you know, Bill C-51, and before that, Bill C-13. There seems to be this agenda being put out there that our private lives ought to be opened up to the government. Yeah, I mean, it is stressful. I mean, sometimes I wish I was running back into burning buildings. Life seemed simpler then. Well, you know, it's important to relieve stress, and one of the things I found helps me is I start each morning with, you know, what I call the hour of power or something like that. I start out with doing some meditation, visualization. I practice an attitude of gratitude, something that I learned doing my grad degree about trying to get your mind in the most optimal cognitive state. I like to exercise a lot. You know, sometimes I go in the morning and do a run. Sometimes I go to the gym and do some deadlifts. The thing about cannabis is, you know, I'm not a huge advocate of it. I've certainly tried it, and I don't have much of a problem with it. But I'm not an advocate for it. I don't go out and promote it. I would prefer my kids not use it and different things like that, and I would prefer to see less use of it in society. But I think the state is the worst. It's far worse than cannabis smoking, right? In fact, it's far worse than any drugs. I think all drugs that prohibition should be repealed across the board, much the same way Portugal did, and we would see drops in addiction rates, we'd see drops in violent crime, and we'd be respecting people's liberty, and we wouldn't be ruining lives. I haven't obviously been to all the national parks, but in Alberta we have some beautiful national parks, but probably my favorite is Banff. I spend quite a bit of time in Banff. Enjoyed in the wintertime skiing on, you know, Lake Louise and Sunshine, and it's beautiful in the summer too, gondola rides and hiking, and so yeah, I really enjoy Banff.
Who's your favorite superhero?
My favorite superhero was probably, there used to be this TV show back in the 80s called Greatest American Hero. It was about this guy, this school teacher, who found a superhero suit that aliens left behind, but he lost the instruction manual, and so he half the time he couldn't remember how to fly or figure out how to make it fly, so he'd run, and he was just kind of a goofy guy trying to do the best he could with this amazing super suit that he didn't know how to operate. So that character was really good. But I think out of kind of mainstream superheroes, it would probably have to be Batman, because he's just a guy who doesn't have any special powers, but yet he fights for justice, and so I can really relate to that. You know, he takes a lot of hits and keeps on ticking. Well, I would say definitely follow your passion rather than chase an easy dollar around. You know, if you chase easy money, it won't pay off in the long run. While money might be harder to come by when you're chasing something you're passionate about, it will pay off in the long run, both in terms of happiness, meaning, and profits. I mean, I've just found that focusing on things that bring my life meaning, that I'm passionate about, end up being more profitable in the long run than just taking projects or taking work that gives me a quick dollar.